Hey everyone, it's Dr. Ramani. So, how many of you have ever had a family tell you to not air the dirty laundry? Just drop that in the comments if that's happened to you in a narcissistic family. And before we get to that, welcome to this YouTube channel on narcissism and just unpacking toxic relationships. I'm Dr. Ramani. And if you're new to this community, please join us and subscribe. And then you can also hit that bell and get the notifications each time we put out a new video. So let's talk about this idea of dirty laundry. So if you haven't responded to this comment, think about, I mean, having responded to this, drop in the comment. If you ever had a family member or even a colleague tell you that you should not share the issues within a family or an organization because it's considered bad form to air your dirty laundry. I actually think this kind of qualifies as a proverb. You can't don't air your dirty laundry. Apparently Napoleon said it. I don't know why he said it, but he said something to the effect of don't air your dirty laundry to others. But this dirty laundry talk, it's enabling talk and a manipulation that holds many people holds them back from talking about the toxic patterns in their families or their marriages and then having to live in a confused state for many years, if not a lifetime. We know what it means, that idea of dirty laundry, that to air our private stains and flaws is a bad look. And interestingly, some interpretations of this sort of proverb reflect both sides of the dirty laundry issue, that it makes us look bad and that it makes other people uncomfortable. Many survivors of narcissistic abuse, especially family narcissistic abuse, parents, siblings, grandparents, are told from an early age that you should not air your dirty laundry. It's considered bad form. It makes the family look bad. Obviously, the family is what's making the family look bad, but narcissistic family systems will never take responsibility, and they will tend to heap the blame and abuse on the person who is pointing out the toxic patterns, usually the truth teller, right? But this dirty laundry posturing teaches children in narcissistic family systems to put up and shut up and effectively silences them so they have to live in an invalidated, gaslighted universe with little opportunity to get clarity and to stop blaming themselves. It means that children in these systems don't get the therapy they may need, and the family is more interested in closing ranks and protecting the narcissistic adults, which then results in intergenerational cycles of more narcissistic abuse, rather than the willingness of people in the system to recognize that these patterns are messed up and doing significant harm to the people within them, particularly the children. I am convinced that all enabling and dirty laundry talk is just one more oppressive maneuver by the narcissistic folks out there. By making it about the centrality of the family, protecting the family, to the world and to the people and the family, the narcissistic people talking this dirty laundry nonsense look heroic. The people telling you to not air your dirty laundry are walking around believing, look at me, I care so much about how people see us. We have to look out for each other in this family and not look weak to the world. And then they basically close the doors and the windows and the blinds so the narcissists can just act like tyrants, and anyone in the family system who dares say something to others about what is really happening about this so-called dirty laundry is perceived as disloyal and as betraying the family. I have to tip my hat to how sinister the nexus of narcissism and enabling are and how much harm it does. The dirty laundry stance also pulls for shame. Remember, shame is a public emotion. The idea of being judged by others, of our bad qualities or behaviors being seen by others, and the dirty laundry paradigm absolutely plays on that idea of shame. Don't shame yourself or all of us by doing this. And we know that shame is a powerful motivator that often stops people from speaking out, seeking help, or being transparent. As a therapist, I can say that so much of the work of therapy is cracking through that shame. Every survivor of narcissistic abuse I have ever worked with has experienced some of this shaming. And the idea that talking in therapy about the dynamics of their family relationships or any narcissistic relationship, they would often say it was the equivalent of airing dirty laundry. Clients I've worked with would frame it as, "Ah, I hate saying things about like this about my family out loud," or "I hope you won't judge me for what I'm about to share." The dirty laundry issue has kept many survivors silent for decades, and even when they are in a safe and confidential space like therapy, still feel that they are doing something bad and airing dirty laundry. Because another thing that the dirty laundry paradigm does is that it stops people from getting into therapy. Many people, especially enablers and narcissistic folks, view therapy as a place where a person will go in to air the so-called dirty laundry. What are you going to do? Tell our family issues to a stranger? Air our dirty laundry? And so the family member that seeks out therapy may be viewed with suspicion. Frankly, I think the narcissists in the family systems do get quite scared when the truth tellers and the other people in the family who are actually willing to call it out are willing to take the stories and have others bear witness. They don't like it because it means a shift in power. I have to say personally, as a survivor, when I have been transparent about narcissistic abuse stories, not even calling it out as such, but literally calling patterns that were very unhealthy within my family system out as abusive, or framing someone's behavior as manipulative or cruel. And then subsequently, because of that, I would not engage or I would set boundaries. I would actually often be met with recoil. They'd say, "Ramani, don't say that about your family. You shouldn't have those feelings." Well, it's got to be one of my faves. I shouldn't have those feelings. I'll hear family is family. And then when I made these comments about my family when I was younger, I was called out as disrespectful and disloyal. I was a truth teller from way back. But when I made them when I was older, I was critiqued for saying disrespectful things about an older person. So you couldn't win. When I tried to do it when I was younger, I was told I shouldn't do it. And again, when this person got older. This dirty laundry framework can be lifelong. I have worked with survivors who, deep into adulthood, will have elderly parents still squawking about dirty laundry. These patterns die hard or never. And there are lots of cultural factors at play. In many cultures worldwide, to share family issues with people outside of the family is forbidden, and harsh consequences, including ostracism, can happen to those who actually do go tell those stories. Therapy is often not viewed as a viable option, or it's viewed with considerable suspicion or stigma, which could hold a person back. Another way that narcissistic systems use the dirty laundry paradigm to their advantage is that they tell the person that they are accusing of airing the dirty laundry that they are making other people uncomfortable. They'll say, "Oh, you're telling our stories. Look at these other people's faces." Again, something I have directly observed so many times. People almost wincing when they hear someone share their so-called dirty laundry. Those other people may or may not be uncomfortable. And if they are, then damn, learn to be present with other people's pain, for goodness sake. But that said, for many survivors of narcissistic abuse, the last thing the survivors want to do is to make another person uncomfortable. So when you are being told that you airing the so-called dirty laundry is making someone else uncomfortable, once again, because of how survivors are wired, a survivor may hold back on being honest with themselves or with others because of their empathy and concern for other people. The dirty laundry framework also raises its head in workplaces. Over and over, when a person, for example, has raised concerns about the behavior of a toxic individual within a workplace, there's often a shaming horde that will say, "Ooh, you may hurt our stock prices," or "We may get a lower budget allocation if you talk about this division like this," or "This is going to make us look bad if you make these concerns known." And people may not want to be responsible for those budget cuts that could hurt people in the system they do care about. But again, that idea of dirty laundry of don't air our group's, this company's dirty laundry. Now, I'm not suggesting that you stream your family issues on social media, but the only way we can push back on the dirty laundry mindset is to give ourselves permission, first in our own minds and in our hearts, to recognize toxic patterns as toxic, and then give ourselves permission to set boundaries and disengage. Because that's most of the battle and what the narcissistic people don't want you to do. They don't even want you to acknowledge a problem, and they just want things to run the way they want. There are ways to air dirty laundry that aren't defamatory. Instead of feeling that you have to spin a fiction about your narcissistic family system, if people ask you questions, you can answer transparently and carefully. You can say things like, oh, my family's unkind, or wasn't safe, or I'm not close with my family because it wasn't a supportive or reciprocal space. You don't have to give other people a play-by-play about your family, but you are allowed to share your stories. Because if you aren't allowed some spaces of honesty, the fictional narratives sort of stew inside of us, and we live in the eternal shame of the unaired dirty laundry. Air your truth in a way that is safe, that helps you get the support you need, and ultimately gets you to better boundaries. I don't believe that that's dirty laundry. I believe that's normal, healthy human vulnerability. Thanks again.